bleed any air or anything out of there.
That was a nice sound. Just ripping a fat bomb. You're talking to it's a microphone. Okay, I'm gonna try my hardest to explain this the best way I can. The last video was pretty much all disassembly. Pretty straightforward. Take the tubes out, pop the cap, spring comes out, or the spacer comes out, the spring comes out, the washer comes out, and then the actual stock damper rod comes out, right? Easy enough. Putting it together is where things get a little bit more technical. And I actually had Lenny, the guy whose bike this is, send me the info that he got made for him by Racetech. So basically, when you order this Racetech kit, from my understanding, I may be wrong about this, but I think this is what they told me. When you order it, it comes with an access code. And the access code, you go to the Racetech website and they build a profile, or you build your profile of yourself, and they build you a specification for these gold valve emulators for you and your size and your bike and everything else. So with that, I'm gonna read off his specs for these emulators. Now, these are gonna be different for every person. This is just so you can kind of see what we're doing in this video when we're reassembling everything, so it's just not look like we're just putting fluid and stuff and measuring something else. Okay, so his preload that was determined by Racetech was 25 millimeters. That's what we were talking about in the last video. That's right at about 1 inch. An inch is 25.4 millimeters, I believe. Okay, so we cut the tube so that when the preload adjuster is at its halfway point, it's a 25 millimeter preload. So he would have a 1/2 inch or about 12.5 millimeters of adjustment, either more or lesser. So that's kind of what we do with that, kind of, you know, shade tree math. Okay, now the oil level, that's what we're doing with that syringe and that long tube. It called for 165 millimeters of fork oil. So basically we took the complete fork, compressed it all the way down with the new damper rod, the new emulator in there. Pour fluid in, pump it a couple times to get the fluid into the damper, and then you stick that syringe down there measured at 165 millimeters from the top, and that's what we were doing there. And the last thing, so I'm going to put a picture here. Boom! So basically, this is the diagram of the inside of the whole fork assembly now. So as you can see at the bottom here, it's the dampening rod. So the whole bottom half is the damper rod, right? And then there is an aluminum adapter that goes between the damper rod and the actual gold valve emulator. And then on top of the gold valve emulator, you have your fork spring. So it's damper rod, spacer, emulator valve, fork spring, and then on top of the fork spring is the washer, and on top of the washer is the PVC spacer, and then on top of that is the preload adjuster. So that's the whole fork setup in this fancy diagram right here. And now gone. So hopefully that'll help clear anything up, because I know there's not a lot of audio in this video because we were too busy working. Kind of happens sometimes. It is what it is. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I will answer them the best of my knowledge, and if I don't have an answer, I will reach out to, again, Lenny, the guy whose bike this is, and hopefully he'll get an answer because he has all the documentation, again, that was specifically made for him. So when I do this to my Dyna, it's going to be probably a completely different setup with preload setup, fork level, everything. Also, my Dyna is a 39 millimeter front end, not a 49. So it's gonna be a little bit different. So again, hopefully that clears things up. Enjoy the video. A lot of good work going into this video. A lot of trial and error with a couple things you might see. But yeah, enjoy the video.
In there, you got the good vantage point.
Ooh, it's like blue.
Pump it a few times. Bleed any air or anything out of there.
It's at the emulator now.
I'll hold it here. I can see in there.
There we go. Now put it all back together?
The emulator's in there.
Yep.
So spring.
PVC, no, spring, washer, PVC, disc, preload adjuster. so
That's one done.
This was done. Come up anymore? Racing no matter what you're doing.
Get us to the point where there's a lot of weights. It'll help with the control.
Yeah, that feels right. But definitely longer. Yeah, these things are way too low. Have to jack the bike up a lot more. The grease.
12 and a half.
Get it.
75.